There we go. Hello and welcome to Pest Perspectives episode 29. It's quite hot today. It is. And this week I have on Alex Wade. Now, this is just Alex Wade, not from any company. We're talking about health, fitness, weightlifting, training, and how it all can help your job, whether you're going into lost spaces, having to go on the floor to do moles. It's all linked. So I think it's an important topic. So I thought I'd get Alex on, and Jasmine was the one that requested Alex as well. So she better turn up in chat at some point. But how are you doing that, Alex?
I'm doing very well. I think, as you all know from my ramblings on Beauties and Beasties, I am not a fan of the heat. So actually, it's cooled down a little bit. Hey, Jasmine,
She's
it's cooled down a
there.
little bit.
She's
So
there.
I am a much happier bunny at the moment. Absolutely. But yes, not here to talk about the weather because that's a quintessentially British thing. Let's talk about weightlifting. Let's talk about exercise.
Yeah. So where did it all? Have you been doing weightlifting and fitness for a long time, or was there something that spurred it all on? Was it?
So, weirdly enough, when I started my journey into fitness, that sounds wildly pretentious. I actually used to
Yeah.
do a lot of rock climbing. So I used to live over by Guildford, and there was a lovely little wall down at the university called Surrey Sports Park,
Yeah.
and I used to go there, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and meet up with a little tribe of people down there who we
Okay.
all just used to do rock climbing and bouldering, and did that for many years.
Yeah.
And I met whilst I was down there a couple of really lovely people. A guy called Chris Bramley, a guy called
Okay.
Mike Green, and a lovely lady called Carol, who's Polish, and
Okay.
I'm not even going to try to attempt her surname because I will cause a diplomatic incident.
Yeah.
But she was wonderful and beautiful, and all of the other things. And they were very much into they did the climbing for fun, but their real passion was going to the gym and doing. Where it wasn't powerlifting, it wasn't weightlifting, it was probably close to a bit of bodybuilding actually.
Okay.
Um, and I was intrigued, and I
Yeah.
got on well with them, and they invited me down one day to this gym in Woking called Gold's Gym, which was
Oh,
it's
a
not like the gyms.
golds.
A Gold's
Ah.
Gym. Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like the gyms that you might think of. All of the running machines and treadmills and exercise machines and bits and bobs like that. It was rusty iron, old benches,
Sounds good.
huge guys. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and it was a very sort of like rough and ready gym, and they sort of like they started me on this little journey. And as I got more into that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the climbing kind of like ended up taking a bit of a back seat because
Okay.
rock climbing and powerlifting are diametrically opposed in terms of body shape
Yeah.
and skill sets. Because with
Well.
climbing, you need to be very lithe, and you need to have sort of like you need to be have a good power to weight ratio. Whereas with powerlifting, you still have a power to weight ratio, but you want to be as big as possible so you can shift more weight. So as I got more into one, I got less into the other. And yeah, for many years, just got more into that. And then finally, I ended up moving away from Guildford, moving closer to Basingstoke for work. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Hi, Andy.
Um,
Oh, hello,
there we
hello,
go.
Kurt. Thanks for popping in.
So yes, moved to Basingstoke. Not a climbing wall anywhere to be seen. Have to travel sort of like a good 40 minutes to get to the nearest wall. So it became wildly impractical. But
Yeah.
had a lot of gyms, does Basingstoke, has a phenomenal number of gyms, in fact, for a little nowhere town. And with that, ended up getting more and more into the it was just general gym fitness at that point. And then there was a free session, a free session with a coach. And I
Okay.
thought, you know what, I'll take this on. And this coach specialized in powerlifting. And so followed them for a little bit and
Yeah.
ended up sort of like getting not just sort of like generic gym to keep fit, ended up really sort of like finding this passion for powerlifting, which is a very specific
Yeah.
kind of weightlifting. which your viewers may or may not be aware of. There are different groups of gym bunnies out there. They all do slightly different things.
Yeah, they do. It's like you see the bodybuilders that won't touch the deadlift. They won't do deadlifts. Or the main excuse I get, I don't want to pull my back out. That's what they say.
See, with bodybuilding, it's very specific because you want to sort of like work one particular group of muscles because you're going for
Yeah.
an aesthetic kind of look.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, and I'm being wildly reductive here, they tend to stick to doing exercises which are what we call isolated. So
Yeah.
you will do a very specific exercise or use a machine just to work one very small group of muscles at once. Whereas things like powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting, it's a lot of compound moves because it's about moving an entire bar. With weightlifting, it would be clean and jerk and snatch. So you're lifting a bar from the floor and ultimately either putting it above your head or just simply just getting it onto your chest at that point. So a lot
Yeah.
of technique in weightlifting. Not a game for me. I tried it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Genuinely thought I was going to go and see Jesus at one point. It definitely more technique, more skill than I had confidence in my level to produce.
That has really stuck with you, hasn't it? That little saying, "Come to Jesus." It's really stuck with you, hasn't it?
It has. I use it all the time because it's funny and it is
Yeah.
graphically accurate at the same time.
Oh, it is. It's like I've got a friend at the minute. I don't know. He probably watches because it's all weightlifting related. Not a pest controller, Billy. He's not. He's getting close. He's doing a men's. I think he's going for the men's physique in bodybuilding, and he's lean as at the minute. But he's because last year he got through. He got through to go to Europe.
Okay.
But he didn't go. He wanted an extra year to get a better body to place this year, and he's because he wants to go to America. You see, if you play, you go to Europe and you place well in Europe, you get to go to America to up against them, and that's his ultimate dream. He wants to do that, but he puts the work in. He really preps, like proper preps. He's lean as you can. Yeah, he's serious. It's a hard division, the men's physique. He's a good, lovely guy though. He's got his own YouTube channel as well and makes content. But lovely bloke he is.
So
Yes.
one of the coaches down around here, lovely lass called Holly. She does a lot of coaching. She coaches people. She does a bit of powerlifting coach as well. But she decided she's going to take a bit of a break from powerlifting and actually move into doing some bodybuilding and actually sort of like do a bodybuilding competition. She documented the entire process from sort of like the day one where she decided to do it all the way through to sort of her comp day and she continued afterwards. And it was a real eye opener actually. It was really sort of like good to be able to see this because it requires so much more discipline than you might imagine, especially when you come up to comp day, because they're on these very restrictive calorie diets because they need to shred down, lose every last inch of body fat to a point that's biologically unsustainable. You'd never find a human being in nature who naturally sort of like had this, unless something had gone wrong at that point. But it was. It was really
Hi,
interesting.
Martin.
Sort of like, watch. Thanks, Martin. Get Martin one day to ask him the story about how he found the rats one night with a flashlight and a scream.
Oh, okay, I definitely will be asking him that.
It's a fantastic story. But yes, she documented the whole process, and I think that's one thing that let's take this back a bit. With all of these, weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, or in fact anything down at the gym, probably one of the biggest things that you will get from it, rather than not just your fitness and your ability to sort of survive. There's a huge mental element to it. One is this, positive catharsis of doing exercise and stilling your brain. But the other thing is instilling discipline to go to the gym, to turn up,
Yeah.
to do the things, to lift the heavy circles and put them back down again, when necessarily you don't feel like it. And that's energy transfers, I believe, to the rest of what you do as well, and the rest of your life, career.
Yes.
If you can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to pick up a heavy circle just to put it down exactly where you picked it up, then absolutely you can walk around a site and check 200 bait boxes in the absolute smashing rain in the middle of winter, because nothing is going to be harder than walking out of the door at 6 o'clock in the morning
It's
and
right.
sort of
It
like
is.
picking those circles up and putting them down again.
No, it's so true. It's because quite a lot of people. It's like when I started my journey back in 2024. I'll tell you now, a lot of people did not believe that I was going to stick it. I joined the gym. Admittedly, the business pays for it. It's the expense. It's a company benefit, let's say. And people don't tell you they don't think you're going to be able to do it. But I got hooked. I got absolutely addicted to going up. I mean, if I look back to where I started, obviously because I was rehabbing off knee surgery, but I did it myself. I told the surgeon, no, I don't need your rehab. I'm going to go gym, do it myself. Because he just obviously broke my knee. I broke my knee in 2020. I lost a load of weight, put it back on. Mentally, I wasn't, there. But this second break, and I thought I was, hang on, when 20, I'm older, right. And I thought I can't do it no more. I'm just trying to think, when was it's 2025 now. So I was young. Right, I'm 41. So yeah. So that's it, right. Just trying to get
the mental maths going on there is brilliant.
I know the mental maths is right. Obviously an age thing comes into it because it was mentioned on your podcast with Anna Mullins about something to do with people that are coming up to or have just passed the age 40. And I think thinking back on it, that was linked to it. I think I've smashed my knee twice. I'm massive, and I didn't realise how big I was until my wife told me. She heard the surgeon overhearing how and she goes, "You do know there was a CAT scan I had to have, and there was a weight limit." And he goes, he is a big gentleman. And he goes, "Dad, no, don't worry. He's just under 30 stone." So that's how much I weighed, just under 30 stone. So
what is that? What's that in real money?
What are you on about? You on about kg or pounds? Kg. I don't know. Do you not use stone then? Do you not use stone?
No, don't use stone.
So the kg would be, I don't know what exactly it was. He just said under 30 stone, but she didn't want to tell me that, obviously, at the time. Let's have a look.
Oh.
Let's call it 29 stone into kg. So 29 stone is 184 kg. So I could have been 187, 188 kg, something like that. I could have been. And I didn't know until my missus told me. Because that time you don't want to tell somebody how big they are. Mentally, I knew something was wrong, but you don't want to totally admit it, do you? Because I didn't like being in photographs. I take photographs of myself all the damn time. I'm a bit of a poser, if you notice, on social media. I am. I can also take people that say, "Oh, you're this and that." Trolls don't bother me no more. But so I got down, lost about. I need to get back on it. I think probably nine stone I've lost now. And I'll be honest, a lot of people knew that I was doing it and thought I'd quit because I did quit last time. But I did it. But it's become like a hobby / passion. When I go gym and when it's leg day, I love leg day. Especially someone's there can film my deadlifting with that slowed down motion videos. I love making them. But it become like a passion. But when I started, I was weak as shit. If I look back now as to how weak I was compared, because people look at me like, that's a lot of weight. I think, is it? It doesn't feel like a lot. It's just because I'm a big bloke. But I had to be so careful because I was rehabbing my knees. See, I went really low to start with, but thinking back, it was so, what's it called? So low, but it doesn't.
So
That weight flies now. That does.
this is it. There's a expression, and paraphrasing it here, I'm probably sure the great Marcus Aurelius once said, to be good at something, you first have to be shit at it.
Yeah.
And you have to accept that you are going to be shit at it to begin with, because
Exactly.
nobody starts at the top of that particular pile, and a lot of people get disheartened when they, and again, we're talking about the gym, so let's put this into gym context. You turn up to
Yeah.
the gym and you look around, and there are people sort of like hefting big weights or running for miles on the treadmill,
Yeah.
or doing one of these classes and walking away from it with barely sort of like a puff out of breath. And
Yeah.
your knee-jerk reaction is to instantly compare yourself to those people,
Yeah.
without thinking that they have already put in the months and the years to get to that point. And in fact, the first time they walked through the gym, they were shit. And everyone
Yeah.
has to start off, and you have to accept that you are going to be shit before you are good.
True.
And so there is nothing wrong, absolutely at all, with walking into one of these environments, be it rock climbing, be it any kind of sort of like
Yeah.
exercise, and not being good at it. Because half the joy, as you say,
Yeah.
is not being good, and then week on week, month on month, year on year, watching that progression, seeing how you grow or shrink, or sort
Yeah.
of like the weights get bigger, or you get better at something or faster at something. So anyone listening to this who's sort of like thinks to themselves, I want to do this, but I don't want to look like an ass. I read a fantastic book years ago,
Yeah.
all about rock climbing, not about the gym. And it's called
Yeah.
9 out of 10 Climbers Make the Same Mistake. And the number one mistake that rock climbers make, and this could be transferred to anyone else, but in the context of rock climbing, was you will underachieve your goals. So you turn up, and so for example, I was climbing up to V6, V7s, relatively good,
Yeah.
but I would hold myself back because in some instances, I would think that everyone was watching. You step up to the wall. It's very sort of like also not exposing. It's very sort of like visible is rock climbing, because everyone steps back. If you walk up to the wall,
Yeah.
everyone steps back because you don't climb over each other. So it means that as you walk up to the wall, your back's to everyone. Everyone's watching you, and you don't want to be shit. You don't want to sort of
Yeah.
like get up to the wall. You don't want to sort of like pick a route, get halfway up, and fall off because everyone's watching you. But the reality is nobody's watching you, and certainly nobody is judging you. And if you just pick the routes that you know you can climb and you are
Yeah.
safe to climb, and that you know you can do, and do well, then you'll never end up pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone. So one of the big mistakes is when you go into these places, you play it safe. You don't push yourself because you don't want to
True.
appear as though you are struggling. You want to look as though you are doing it. But reality is you need to push yourself beyond that. You need to grow out of that. And you need to understand that when you go to these gyms, you go to it, despite the fact that there's a mirror on every vertical surface going,
Yeah.
and you can see sort of like, everywhere at the same time. Everyone's focused on their own thing. Everyone's focused on their own journey. Very rarely you're going to find people sort of like laser beaming you from across the room, and unless you're doing something wildly, wildly ridiculous.
Oh,
They're just
you,
going to
you're,
they're going
it's
to be
true.
in their own thing. Yeah.
It's true. It's like I tell people, especially people I know that go gym that want to go that are women, because they get especially intimidated by it. I said they're not looking at you. I says although they're in the zone, and if they peer over at you, it may appear they're looking at you. They're not even thinking about you. It's because it's quite intense, isn't it? It's like you're not actually. If you look over at someone, it's a brief second, and it's not on purpose. They're not looking at you.
Yeah.
However, there was this lad the other day that I was looking at because he was doing what I thought was an ego lift. Young lad on the hack squat, weighed it out both sides, and he was going down. Like, wait. Going down a bit. Like, literally not even moving hardly. And I thought, they were filming it. I thought, I hope they put that online because he's going to look ridiculous. That's the first time I've seen anyone try and do ego lifting in there before. It is.
So just to clarify for people who are watching it.
Yeah.
An ego lift is when someone lifts a weight that is so high, it's not pushing the boundaries. It's well out of what should be a sensible or even a safe lift. And in order to achieve that sensible or safe lift, you end up sort of like cutting corners, as
Yeah.
Sean says there, instead of doing a full range of motion, which would be sort of, as we would say, arse to the grass. You end up sort of like dipping. But
Yeah.
that being said, you don't know what his program was. He may very well have been just training the initial sort of like, so
It
my
may
coach
have been,
will get me to,
yeah.
so my coach will occasionally get me to do things like, so for squats, I won't do a full squat. I'll put the safety bars in and I'll go halfway down so the weight comes off my shoulders
Yeah.
and then re-engage. And so with that, it looks as though, and you do that with very heavy weight, because the idea is to try and sort of like um, get yourself to sort of like be able to brace underneath that initial weight.
Yeah.
And sort of like be able to take that weight and be able to sort of like start to lower it down and then to drive back up and through it, because the mechanics of your body differ depending on the different stages. It can get
Yeah.
scientific if you want to really get into this.
It can.
There's a lot of mechanical advantages and disadvantages that you can use, and that's kind of why I like powerlifting. So, what weight counts as an ego lift? It varies for each individual. I've been guilty of it before, wanting to take pictures for Instagram and the rest of it.
Yeah.
Just the idea is you just don't do it every day.
It's I mean, you're right. He may have been doing that. Just young lads doing that. I just thought he's ego lifted, but he may not have been. He was with someone, because on the hack, you really need someone with you that can push that weight back up. Because with a hack, if you were to go down, you can. There's no stable bit. There's no way of getting out.
On there.
You say
there should be a little stop anchor at the bottom to stop you turning yourself into a prawn. Like,
it probably is. It's a brand new piece of kit, so there probably is. They bought the 4 new Jim Lecco pieces of kit, and one of them I hate with a vengeance. You know why, Alex? Because
hang on, no. Tell me what the bit of kit is, and I can probably guess why you hate it. What's it for?
It's leg curl.
Yeah, okay. I can have a guess.
You won't be able to guess it though, but you can have a go.
Have a go. With a lot of those sort of like isolating leg curl machines or leg extension machines, they never seem to be. They seem to be designed for the average human being. Only there is no such thing as an average human being. So you end up either getting the bar so far away up your shin that you've got no mechanical advantage, or it ends up being so far down over your foot you feel like you're football punting it. So I would say you just don't fit, because I don't fit into them either.
Yeah, I can't get my legs into it. But but I feel all right, because a lot of the big guys down there can't get their legs in either. So I feel like one of the big. So all I've got left is I have to do lying, the front lying curl, where you lay on your front and you curl that way. That's the curl I do.
I can't do those.
Oh yeah.
Slightly hilarious reason. So I also used to do a lot of mountain biking and downhill mountain biking at that, because I grew up in the woods like a feral child. The little village I grew up in, just outside of Guildford. There was one bus in, one bus out, but a tribe of us, all the same age, lived on the same street and the neighbouring street. So like a little pack of feral goblins would get our bikes and would cycle until it got dark and then cycle home precariously along the road. But we used to do a lot of downhill mountain bike, and actually I had quite a nice full suspension downhill mountain bike. And one day when I was traveling at superluminal speeds down a hill, I came off as I wanted to do, and gravity became my co-pilot. And as I flew through the air, I hit a tree stump with my chest, like literally. So tree stump was about that high off the ground. It just been cut off, but it was almost perfectly this shaped, and I hit it so square on in the center of my chest, it detached my sternum, like literally broke all of my ribs around here. And I didn't realize I'd broken them at the time, because it just like bonk. And I was
Did you get back up then, and like as a kid not knowing?
I wasn't a kid. I was like 20.
Sorry, yeah.
But like this, like it knocked the wind out of myself, and I thought I just winded myself and the rest of it. The next morning I woke up, and at this point it was, well, I probably wasn't 20, probably 18, just before I went to university.
Yeah.
I woke up and there's these great big purple bruises going all the way down my chest. My mum is a
Oh,
nurse, and she was like, "Someone giving you chest compressions?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "That's exactly what it looks like when someone comes through A&E after having sort of like chest compressions and
wow.
the trauma. Like
Okay.
basically,
Yeah.
all your ribs broken there." So depending which way you look at it, I've never broken a bone, or technically, I've broken every rib in my chest. But the reason I can't do the laying leg counts is because the bottom of my sternum, just here,
Yeah.
it never fully attached. So
Oh.
I've got the bottom bit of my
Oh,
sternum float.
okay.
So when I'm laying down on these pro machines and they're taking all the weight, the bottom of my sternum's just like, "Hello." It just folds into my chest.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's something you never knew about me. In fact, to
No.
this day, yeah, let's do that. You can. There we go.
Oh, damn. Damn. Didn't know that. But I do
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but I can't. I can get a certain range of motion, but I can't get it fully like you should do. But it's enough. It is.
And it's good. If you want to do good deadlifts, you need to have good hammies. So the machines like that, although they're
I
awful,
use
they do
ham
have
raise
a lot of
too.
weight.
I do the ham raises as well.
Hmm.
The am I saying it right? Where you basically bend over a bench, basically in old weights. I'm probably
Oh
saying
no,
it
not
wrong.
that. Yeah, it's yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not ham raisers, but for everyone listening, bending over a bench isn't as unusual as it may sound
No,
down the gym.
no,
it's
no. I
it's
can't
fairly
think what it's
common
called
practice.
off the top of my head, but I can see it. I just can't think of what you actually
They're
call it.
back extensions.
That's it. Back extensions and
Yeah.
the hip abductor is apparently good for that as well. It
Oh, I
is.
hate that machine. But there we go. But yeah, it's all good. As I said, like my particular flavor, let's say, of uh, gym exercise is powerlifting, which is
Yeah.
it is there's a lot of technique, but it's all about the numbers. It's all about trying to shift as much weight as you possibly can. And there are some people who, the world record holders. So for example, it's three lifts is powerlifting.
Yeah.
It is your squat, it is your deadlift, and it is your bench press,
Yeah.
strict versions of each. But just to put into context how monstrous some human beings have got, the mountain Thor from Game of
Oh,
Thrones, but also, yeah,
yes.
he recently rebroke his own world record at something like 505 kilos.
They claim he's going to do it again
I'm
soon.
sure he is. Um, it's just it boggles the mind, or boggles
Yeah.
my mind, should I say, uh, how a human being is capable of moving half a metric ton by themselves is it's amazing. It's incredible. I mean,
It
I
is.
am nowhere, and I will never be anywhere near that. I'm happy with my numbers. Um, but it is an inspiration as to the feats of which a human body can endure and demonstrate this just raw power at the end of the
Oh
day.
no, it definitely is. It's like Eddie Hall congratulated him, but when Eddie did his lift, he nearly died, didn't he? He did.
He did, yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. He was all kinds of hemorrhaging,
it was.
bleeding nose, eyes popping out of his head. Human body definitely should not be able to do that,
No,
and yet they do.
no,
So I'm not by all means. I'm not saying to anyone who's joining the gym, that's the level at which you need to aim.
you don't.
Most killer human beings, you're aiming a little bit lower than that.
It's like when I see a lot of the young lads, sometimes they deadlift. I was like, and they start putting the belt on. So I'm like, ah, they're gonna lift something big, and they don't. I was like, I,
It might
I,
be big for them, though. It might be big for them.
it may be, but I've never actually used a belt. I've got to learn how to use one. I've never. It's all about breathing into. I've never used a belt yet. I haven't. I
Well,
haven't needed to.
so this is this is the interesting thing about powerlifting is powerlifting's really good for strength. It's absolutely terrible for aesthetics
Yeah,
because when you're shifting so much weight to powerlifting. So put this another way, in sort of like a biomechanical kind of like
yeah,
context here, which is if you are trying to compress something down flat like that, which is exactly
yeah,
what you're trying to do with both a deadlift and a squat. You've got a lot of weight,
yeah,
and it wants to basically reduce you to a thin red smear on the floor.
yeah,
Um, Mechanically, the best
yeah,
shape to have for that is a cylinder like that. Because you
yeah.
try and compress a cylinder, you cannot, well, you can, but it's a lot harder to
Yeah.
do. Um, so with that, a lot of sort of like the skill and the technique of powerlifting and the rest of it is to be able to sort of like brace your core, not just sort of like pull your core down, but actually engage all of those muscles around your core to create a solid, almost sort of like tubular shape, which a barrel shape, I should say, which allows you a much greater level of stability and control when you are sort of like dipping down or lifting up these weights. And that the point of the belt is it helps you brace that barrel,
Okay.
brace your core against that belt. So
Okay.
yes, it definitely is a skill in it, and it is about your breathing. It's about your mindset. It's about the timings of it. It's not just walking up there screaming, Leroy Jenkins, and then just whipping the thing off the floor. Um, a little bit of preamble goes into it.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I've never actually used a belt yet, but I would have to buy my own belt because the belts at the gym are for little people. Yeah, because
Right.
one of the powerlifters that comes in brings his own. He came second
That's not my own.
recently. He came second at a local event. He did.
Mm.
Well, he did. So he says to me, I've got no intentions of trying to go pro. He just does it for fun. He says, I'm not going to go try and be the world's strongest man. He says, but just do it. He just does it for a goal. He does.
That's the other discipline as well. Sorry, strongman. Strongman is all
Strongman.
about sort of like, yeah, strongman is about lifting heavy weights in awkward ways.
That's what he's in.
Let's
Sorry,
say,
not
yeah.
powerlifting. It's strongman. That's
Mm,
what he does.
mm,
Yes, the
yeah,
boulders
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Atlas stones. A bit of me wants to give that a go, and another bit of me thinks that my spine would fold faster than a cheap suit. It
Right.
would
Yeah. Yeah.
just turn to bubble wrap and just crinkle like somebody just kid at Christmas
Makes me want to,
pulling the bubble wrap.
but I don't. I don't. I'm quite happy with just going gym and not trying that because I don't want to hurt myself.
It's good to have a
But
goal there. I mean, so I'm going to be entering a competition at the end of the year. That's my
yeah,
goal. That's what I'm going to try and do. And it's a qualifier. So I've done competitions before, but they've not been
yeah,
qualifying competitions. They've just been for a bit of fun.
yeah,
And I have to say, it was. So I did my first comp probably April, not last year. Maybe it was last year or the year before.
hey, with the pitch, that's
Um,
where the pictures come from, weren't it? On the thumbnail.
That's where the pictures came from. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So it was a novice comp. It
yeah,
wasn't ranked, wasn't qualified. It was just to get some experience getting up on the platform. And it's crazy because you are the only one there, and there'll be a crowd of sort of like 50 to 100 people just watching you. And you'd think it'd be really intimidating, but everyone's there. The people you're competing
yeah,
against, their friends, their family, and they're just like, lift it up, fucking do it, go. And like the whole room erupts and shouts. And it's like that, it's the best environment going because everyone is cheering you on. They don't care who you are or where you're from or what you've done or how much you're lifting.
yeah,
They just want you to lift it up. They just want you to do it, and it's just that fantastic. That being said,
yeah.
when you actually stood on the podium, you don't hear a single bit of that. Like
No,
your brain just
yeah,
goes down to sort of like your whole world reduces to the judge sitting in front of you, who is like down and up, and that's it. And then you're just like, oh, did I say something embarrassing? What happened?
yeah,
Like total fugue state. What happened for the last 5 minutes? Where was I? What went on? Um, but this is it. So in December this year, I will be
yeah,
entering my first proper qualifying competition. And one of the reasons I've left my qualifiers so late, and this is the irony of it, is
yeah.
because I turned 40 this year, I've now gone from the open class to the master's class,
Oh,
which means
the
suddenly,
masters. Oh,
master's class. But by going up an age class means
yeah.
that actually the weight that I need to lift in order to qualify has reduced by a third.
Really? Oh, okay.
it's going to be easier for me to qualify to get to Brits, to get to Euros, by being older than it would have been by working harder.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. I didn't know that they
Yeah.
reduced the number.
Oh yeah. This is my golden age. It goes downhill every year from here as I get deeper into the masters category. But there are some people, like in the opens, who are
Yeah.
just phenomenal athletes. They're absolutely incredible. There was they had the IPF World Championships the other day, and there was a lass. She was 55 kilos or something like that. So she was in one of the lighter weight groups by far, and she shifted, I think, a little over 4 times her own body weight.
Wow.
That's mad. That would be like me shifting a 400 kilo squat.
There is.
You know,
Damn. Wow.
yeah. I think I've got more chance of surviving a direct nuclear strike than I have at holding 400 kilos on my shoulder. It's one of those things. It's just outrageous, let's say. But it's all the challenge, it's all the fun.
Yeah,
It is
it
a
is.
goal to strive for. And as I say, it helps with the motivation, it helps with the discipline. And of course, one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, of course, was how all of that translates them back into our job at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
it does.
So have you found it? I mean, because you mentioned your knees, and by far and away, the pest managers that I've spoken to, it's their knees. The knees are the first things to go. So have you actually felt like, how
So,
has this helped your knees?
so
Like, what
since
you've done?
rehabbing, I was warm when I had surgery. Obviously, I got warm first time, then second time. In the winter, my legs get worse when it gets cold, and
That's fairly standard, yeah.
so obviously I do a lot of mold. I do a lot of mold control. So I do to get down and up, but I find it very easy now. But I also do use. I've got a little. I've got a knee pad specifically for the mold jobs. It's fit, so that helps. But I can get up and down no problem now. I can.
Mm.
Compared to when I first started the gym, obviously it took time for me to build my legs up. Because I would say out of everything, I would say my legs are bigger than anything because they normally are. But I would say it's helped massively in terms of me even going down to check a box or having to go under a kickboard in a kitchen. It's not difficult no more. It was when I first had the surgery. It was difficult to get up and down, up and down, up and down. But it's massively improved the game of pest control with my knees alone. But I do use I've got a special kneeling thing because I haven't got shin pads built into my trousers. When the summer I wear shorts, but I do. But I've got a kneel pad thing. It's quite good. It is. But yeah, it's massively improved. I would say if I hadn't rehabbed and stuck to the gym and whatnot, I don't think it would be half a quarter of what I am now. It's massively improved it. It helps so much. And a lot of people think, oh, he's just saying that, but it genuinely is the truth. You don't realise how much you need your knees, legs until, well, effectively, I lost them. I lost my legs for 3 months. I actually had to go in a wheelchair. And I can tell you now, you get treated different when you're in a wheelchair. You know, there was a local shop. My missus pushed me up around the corner once, and I was outside. I went, all right, mate. He ignored me. I says, I'm not a cripple. I said, I'm not disabled. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like, why would you ignore me? If someone said hello to her,
why would you ignore someone even if they were?
I know, but a lot of people, sadly, I noticed this. They ignored people that are disabled, even if they say hello. I've never ignored anyone, but I did not like it. I told him I could get up, I would, but I can't.
If I could get up, I would kick your ass, but I have neither the effort nor inclination to do so.
But that was the only time I went in the wheelchair. But apart from that, I'll be honest, yeah, massively helped the job in general, in all forms of getting up and down off a floor, because you have to, and it is the main thing people moan about. It is their knees.
the funny thing is, human beings as adults, we forget how to get up and down. That sounds like a really dumb thing to say when
It's
you're like,
true.
I get up and down all the time, but we don't. We kind of like we build bad habits into what we do. We will either hinge or we'll take the laziest option to try and pick something up from the floor or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you only have to look at kids, for example, toddlers. They do that. They do the perfect squat. Like if they want to get
Yeah.
down the floor, stand up. They do like they have the perfect range of motion. They hinge in
Yeah.
the right way. They do the rest of it. And then we sort of like grow older and we stop doing that and we forget. And then that's why
True.
sort of like when we get to our age, when stuff starts to break down,
Yeah.
you only have to bend over the wrong way, and suddenly that's it. 3 to 5 business days, you
Yeah.
just stretch it out, unable to do anything. So again, another one of the good things about the gym is it teaches you, reteaches you how to do a lot of these what should be
Yeah.
normal human behavior, but it bending in the right way, lifting things up in the right way, and being able to lift things up in the right way and not doing yourself a massive injustice or injury at the same
Because when you
time.
get out of a seat as well, it's another thing I learned in my rehab first time round was you're not actually supposed to. You know how some people push their hands up with the seat? You're
Mm.
actually supposed to just stand up without anyone helping you, aren't you?
Not
Most
tumble
people,
out, just
yeah, you're supposed to just stand right. And I do nowadays. I don't use the seat. I stand right up. But most people, if you watch them, they'll use their hands to get up. They will.
never realised that. I'll have to pay closer attention. I've been standing wrong all of my life. But yeah, it's again, it's one of those things. So the other thing, and I've noticed this with me, is by doing more exercise and also eating a little bit better, because I haven't
Yeah.
been quite probably the best at that in the past. Your energy levels change significantly as well, which can really help get through the day, because you find yourself not flagging around about 3 or 4 o'clock anymore. You don't find yourself sort of like, or feeling the need to sort of like pick and snack in order to sort of like give yourself that false sense of energy to keep going. I found
Yeah.
that the exercise it helps with that significantly, that regulation of just energy that zhoosh throughout the day.
Oh no, it definitely does because you got to remember you're not carrying around as much weight. Because I told a
Helps.
while ago, I told somebody, and you're like, and he told me a way to think of it. Like he says, think of I can't remember how much I technically have lost, but he said, think of X amount of cement bags you've taken off of you, and that's when you
Mm.
realise, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, isn't it? And I didn't think of it until like you say how many kg you are, and that's like I don't know, like you've lost two cement bags or 4 cement bags, and
Yeah.
it's massive. Don't get me wrong, I'm not at the end stage. I want to lose far more and get more stronger, but I think I've done well so far, and I have got a lot more energy. I have than what I did have back then. I wish I had more photographs from back then, but I didn't like taking photographs. So I've kind of got photos when I can. When people took photos when I didn't know they were taking it. But generally, yeah, a lot more energy, Alex. And I honestly, your Instagram stories recently have been so cool. They have.
Yeah, I'm either going to live forever or have a heart attack by the end of next week. It's a coin flip right at the moment. But that's it. Andy asks a good question actually,
Yeah,
saying,
he
is it better
does.
to squat, near down, or bend to check for stations? I would say it depends on how long you're going to do it. If you're just picking something up from the floor, you can do the age-old golfer's lift, which is where you just swing your leg out and you lean down. But again, I reckon it depends on your mobility. If you're going to be working at it for a while, kneeling down's good. But as Sean says, you need to make sure you have proper knee protection, because kneeling concrete to knee straight onto your patella is going to just basically, it's going to grind that back and it's going to grind that down, and it's going to want to push it up and out the way as you're kneeling on it and pushing down. So investment in a decent pair of sort of knee pads in order to try and take some of that abrasion, some of that shock out of it is good. If you just sort of like scooping down to pick something up, the rest of it, yeah, squat's good. just pop a squat, pick it up and
Yeah.
go. If you're lifting something heavy, absolutely, go for a squat. Anything,
Yes.
10, 15, 20 kilos above that, you want to be lifting, you're holding it as close to your body as you can, and to minimize the amount of tilt that you're going to be experiencing at that point, because that keeps your back happy. This is turning into a health and safety seminar.
Yeah.
Weirdly
Yeah.
enough,
As
isn't
well.
it? Yeah, yeah.
It
Don't
is.
twist when you lift things.
Well,
I
they do
think
teach you. They do teach you to bend your knees, don't they, and squat when you lift the
that's yeah.
box.
It's
They
manual
do.
handling. I worked
Yeah.
for years and years in a factory, and every year we had our compulsory manual handling courses to go on, which was great.
Yeah.
And everyone practicing lifting up cardboard boxes. But yes, so I had another question for you, which was leading on from the back of this, which is the ways in which. I mean, we'll park powerlifting for a bit. We'll come back to that because that's
Yeah.
a passion and that's fun, but that's a means to an end rather than something that you need to do.
Yeah.
Um, Coaches, that's what I was going to say, because I have a coach,
Yeah. You do.
and
You
you said
do.
you haven't. Actually, my coach. She used to work for Wade Environmental.
Wait a minute. Jeez. Elaine doesn't work for you. Ella, what? Does she not work
No,
for them anymore?
Ellen, no, no, she left Wave
Oh.
Environmental a little while back because, and this was
Oh,
it. She is
right.
not because she didn't enjoy the pest industry. She thoroughly enjoyed the pest industry, but her passion always lied
I can.
with this. And after she is technically a world record holder, or was, for a while until someone took the place. But
Yeah.
she was very good at it, phenomenally good at it, and
Yeah.
she decided to pursue it further. And more power to her, and absolutely all the best will there. No parting on ill terms whatsoever. She had to pursue her passion, and I'm
I
behind her.
love
So
that. I
much so,
didn't
I'm
know.
behind her that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So she was a coach before we met, but she was also a forensic scientist. That was what her training was at university. But it's always been her
Yeah.
passion. And when she had the opportunity, when she was a bit more stable and she could devote to it a bit more, yeah, she went back into it. But she is my coach to the point that
That's,
she got me. I went through some rehab, so I damaged my ankle quite badly March last year. Of all things, falling down the
okay.
stairs, which sounds
Oh,
remarkably sinister, but it was. Oh, so I'll tell you this story because it was
that's
probably one of the
painful.
dumbest things I've done in a very long time. And let's be fair, the list of dumb things that I've done is a book into itself. But this kind of sits at chapter one,
Yeah.
and I was just about to start my new job, a week before starting my new job. And I was just about to drive down to Liverpool to go and meet Sharon and meet the rest of the team. And I
Yeah.
was literally out of the door. And as I was walking down the stairs, I had my laundry hamper on the stairs. As you do, you finish your laundry, you take it out of the washing machine. Where does it live? It lives halfway up the stairs to encourage someone else to take it up the stairs,
Yeah.
or the dirty hamper halfway down to encourage. But on the way down, eyed this thing up and I got two steps past it. And I remember an old axiom that my father used to tell me, which was the mess that you walk past is the mess that you accept. And so I just had his little voice in the back of my head being like, if you walk past this, then you accept that you are going to live in an untidy house. So stopped, twisted on the stairs, picked it up, turned back round, went to go and step, missed the step, and a bit of my brain betrayed me and just went, "You've missed this step. You should go for the next step." And the next step was not the next step. I ended up stepping like goose stepping, like Monty Python, from halfway up the stairs to the very bottom of the stairs. Literally just took the
Oh.
entire flight of stairs in a single bound, which
Oh,
obviously
goodness.
my ankle was just like, well, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to have some words about this. And yeah, it's my dad's fault. Everything's my dad's fault. We've all met my father through this industry. We all know Joe. But yeah, I goose stepped down the stairs and basically landed on my ankle, which folded instantly. Now, that wasn't the dumb thing. That was just the unfortunate thing because this stuff happens. The dumb
Yeah.
thing was I was just like, I need to make this meeting, which is at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. My ankle hurts, but it has not yet swollen up. So I got my big old army surplus boots on, pull them up, bandage my ankle up, pull my boots up, do them as tight as I can, and then
Yeah.
drive 4.5 hours to Liverpool. To which point I get to my hotel room
Wow.
and I look at my foot and I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking that boot off. It's not going to sleep
Wow.
with my boots on for the night. I was
Wow.
terrified taking it off and never getting it on again. Had the meeting, was taking ibuprofen and painkillers literally like they were candy,
Yeah.
sweating like it was I was situated 3/4 of a mile away from the surface of the
Yeah.
sun, to the point that Sharon was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah." So I fessed up like 2 months later, being like, "Oh, I had absolutely just destroyed my ankle. I was in so much pain," and then drove home. That same day, drove home, and came
Oh, an
back. And then at
automatic.
that point, no,
No, I would say because it
no.
would have been easier.
It was my right foot, so it would have been an
Oh,
absolute ass either which way. Um, but long story short, at that point, I got speaking to Ellen again, because at that point she was still working for We, and she was like, "Yeah, you need to do some rehab on that." So signed up to her coaching, and she did me through the rehab, and it was a long time. It was about 4 months or so of
yeah.
just
Okay.
not lifting heavy weights, just of ankle mobility. But the point of that is now I can still do things. So I'm back to my comp level squat, which is about 200 kilograms, which I never would have been
Uh,
able to do if I'd not taken on this coach, if I'd not taken on this advice, if I'd not done the exercises and the rehab. I would never have been able to. I would have been able to barely walk up the stairs, if I'm brutally honest. So yeah, having the right support and doing the exercise and doing the stuff is phenomenally important for maintaining just your health at the end of the day. So there we go. That's my dumb story for the night.
well, I'm just more thinking about you can do 200 kg. What is that? Free bar?
Yeah.
Damn.
You want to know
Well,
what my numbers are? So what my comp numbers
yeah.
from so comp numbers are the only ones that really matter at the end of the day.
uh,
What you do in the gym is fun, but what you do on the platform is something different.
Yeah.
So at my fun comp that I did, which is
Yeah.
still to the same, it's still sort of like a measured to the same standards as a real qualifier. It's just not a qualifier. So my squat was 200 kilos,
Yeah.
and I bombed out at 205. So my opener was 190 kilos. So the way
Yeah.
powerlifting works is quite unique. You have 3 attempts at 3 different types of lift. So you
Yeah.
come in and it'll be squats first. So you say my opener will be, let's just say for the sake of example, 100 kilos. Now, if you
Yeah.
manage 100 kilos, you can say, right, I want to go up 110 kilos. And if you manage that, you go up 120. But if you fail it, then you have to redo the weight that you did. And
Okay.
then you do the same for bench, and then you do the same for deadlift. And then your score is the highest number from each of your lifts. So, it's not the cumulative of each lift, it's the highest number. So if you do 200, 100, 200, then your cumulative
Yeah.
score is 500.
Okay.
And so there we go. So yeah, I opened at 190, whistled through that, did 200. Honestly, thought that I was going to invert myself, and then went for 205, and I just went down, 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 and then was just like, I'm not getting back up from this. Just like a little crab scuttling
Oh.
along the floor. It's a
Do
weight
you
on my
have
shoulders. To be like,
people?
no,
Do, do you have people each side to help you in case you
yeah,
get into trouble? Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So the golden rule is in comps is you don't bail your weight. You don't bail it, because if you bail your weight, that's like 200 kilos just flying through the air or rolling through
Okay.
the air. Someone could get hurt. So you have
Yeah.
you have someone on each side and someone behind you. So the person behind you keeps you upright. Just
Yeah.
they their arms underneath and put them on your chest to keep your body upright, to keep your
Yeah.
sort of like posture good. And the two guys on the side just take the weight up, but it's still you driving up. So you have to have at
Yeah.
least a little something left in the tank. So yes, my opener was 190, 200 was a 3 light to confirm, and 205. I died. I died very visibly and in front of a lot of people. I
Okay.
think my bench press was 100, and then 115, which was quite fun. And then I thought I was going to be really, really big. I was like, I jumped from 100 to 115. That was no problem. Let's go for 125. And I went, yes, this is good. This is
Yeah.
good. And it came down to my chest. So this is not moving. I think I managed about 6 inches. I was just like, hit, and then held it. And then everyone was just looking at me. I was like, This is not happening. This is not moving. Guys lifting up off me. And then my deadlift. My deadlift is the weakest of the three. It's 200 kilos. But that is because I have this weird mental blocker because when I was rock climbing, I fell off the wall so many times and injured my lower back so often that deadlift is all about that hinge between your hips and your back, and that sort of like moving out movement. And there's a bit of my brain that's just like, if you try and hinge this, you will snap like the old grey twig that you are. So I have this mental block because I can do deadlift variants, I can do all the accessories, and theoretically I should be well above that. To the other day, I lifted 200 kilos. It was absolutely fine. I put two little biscuits on the other side to take it to 205 kilos. Just couldn't move it. Just couldn't lift it off the floor. I was so frustrated. I was just like, this makes no logical sense. I should at least be able to get it halfway up. But there's a bit of my brain that was just like, nope. So that it's a huge, it's competing with yourself at the end of the day. I think that's probably why I enjoy it more than anything else. It's a competition where the only other person really that matters is you, or who you want to be, or who you thought you were. That's the people that you're.
Do you use straps? Do you use straps for your deadlifts? Are you allowed to use it in competition straps? You're not.
No.
I use figure 8 straps for deadlifting. I do.
No, it's hand strength that could crush a watermelon.
Are you allowed chalk? Are you allowed chalk in your gym?
Oh, yes.
Chalk's not really allowed in our gym. You see.
Get some liquid chalk.
Liquid chalk. Stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try that then. Does it give you better grip? I've got crap grip. I have.
There's a bit of it's mental. Another little bit of it, you get sweaty palms, which definitely detract from your ability
on a hot day.
Hold onto a bar.
All these heat waves I've been having. I went to try and do deadlifting.
I am aware of them, yes.
And I was like, I couldn't lift. I had to drop the weight right down. I couldn't do it. My hands were slipping on the bar.
Oh, that's nasty.
Sorry.
That's just nasty.
I
Get yourself some liquid chalk.
Yeah. I'll try that then. Because in our area, we got, what's it called? There is some powerlifters in my area. There's this, like, they've got Dan Wigan in our area, but his girlfriend's on the, I think she's on the Team GB list. I'm not sure. She's in the juniors division. She's got pictures out of the International Powerlifting Federation. And Elaine follows. Follows her. George Powerlifting, she's called. I've never seen her. I just watched the videos, and she has all them videos and like a team of people behind her, going all the way down in case anything happens. I see all that stuff. I do. But Jasmine had a question. Jasmine had a question. She did.
So what's the coach? So for me, coach does different things for different people, right? And anyone who's been listening to this who thinks, actually, I do want to go into the gym, but I don't know what to do, or I don't want to go into the gym, but I don't know what best to do in order to try and sort of like maximize my efforts, or the rest of it. So coaches can do whatever you like. So you can have like an online only program, and I have to say that there's a load of coaches down here. There's 4 of them that I can name off the top of my head, all absolutely phenomenally wonderful people that all do online courses. They're all powerlifters, but they're all sort of like, they're all placed at either nationals or worlds, or won world titles and the rest of it. So they're really, really great people. So Ellen, of course, because she's that. My friend Ash, Jess, Holly, look them up. They're fantastic. But they do what it is that you need them to do. So Ellen, for me, just basically sets a program, and every week I put my numbers in. I've got an app on my phone. I record the numbers. Just you say, right, I need to do these exercises in this order on these days. And with that, record the numbers and the number of reps you have, and then tell me how hard you thought that was. How hard are you working? Okay. And then she'll review that. And then the following week, she'll be like, right, what we're going to do is these are the areas where you're weakest. We need you to sort of like, we're going to so deadlifts a week. So instead of just plowing on trying to do deadlifts, we're going to do some accessory movements, try and work out the bit of your lift which is weakest, and focus on that. So that's what she does for me. But coaches can also do nutrition plans as well.
Yeah.
nutrition is a big part of your program. It's a big part of your life, to be fair. It's probably the biggest part of your life is what you eat. And so they can tell you, give you, not tell you necessarily what to eat, but they can certainly help you make better decisions, what fits your macros, what's going to be best for you at different
Yeah.
sort of like training phases and the rest of it. They can help with rehab. So as I say, Ellen helped me with my rehab. Ellen also, if I wanted to, I can send in videos. So I'll can set a camera up, although I absolutely hate doing it, film myself doing a squat or film myself doing a deadlift.
Yeah.
And she'll look at it and she'll be like, right, what you're doing is when you're setting up for your deadlift, you're actually setting up with the bar a little bit too far away from your body. So that's first, you're like losing a lot of energy, bringing that bar back in line with your body. A lot of wasted energy, bringing the
Yeah.
bar in line with the bar path. What you need to do is you need to start, in this position, and it may not be intuitive. So with me, when I start my deadlifts, I feel as though I'm just about to like pitch backwards. My weight is very far back, and so she'll work on it with that. She'll give me cues, engagement, pull your shoulders back, your lats down, brace your core, all of those things. So they teach you the skill. They give you the motivation to do the right exercises on the right day. They give you feedback, so they keep you sort of like motivated to do the right thing. It's all a process there, and some people like to have it face to face. So I
Yeah.
know that both Jess, Ash, and Ellen all do sort of like face to face sessions. So they will sort of like coach people, or you can just do it online. I know several people whose coaches live out in the States, and they'll do exactly that. They'll sort of like fill out a workbook, or they'll fill out an app, they'll send it
Yeah.
off to them, people, and they'll work through it. And these people are professionals at the end of the day. They are professionals in helping people best utilize, their bodies, their skills, and their strengths. So lots of things a coach can do for you. It's not just a case of having a cheerleader, because obviously they are
Yeah.
that as well, because they want you to succeed. But it's
Yeah.
the technique, it is the motivation, and it's all of those other things in between.
I
So
know
there you go,
that's a
gentlemen.
good. That's a good. That's a good
That was
summary.
a long answer. It
No,
was
but
not a summary. That was an essay.
yeah. But no, it's a fair point. It's there's a lot of PTs that are at my gym as well that are always training people. There are
Hmm.
obviously. How I'm not asking you to say how much you pay, but is there like a rough price you pay per hour if somebody's actually PTing you, or is it vary on who it is? Is it like
It varies on who it is. It varies
yeah,
on what you're wanting to do. So couple of these ladies that I mentioned, they'll do classes, which are a bit
yeah,
cheap. You go in as a group, you'll do a class. There's a set of routines and exercises, and they'll coach you through it and do it. And
yeah,
that's just one end. That's a very
yeah,
sociable end of it. If you want to go all the way up to the other end, if you're sort of like getting to the more professional, because all of these coaches have coaches,
yeah,
and you get to that level, you might be talking honestly, sort of like a couple of £100 a month, which is far in
yeah,
excess of anything that you or I would ever
yeah,
need. But that's a professional level of professional coaching. My one, and I won't be, it's not too bad saying, about £100 a month is what I spend
yeah,
with Ellen, and that's a moderate package. She probably does me more favors than not,
yeah,
just simply because of our history and relationship. But
yeah,
with that, she does all of those things, and if it wasn't for her and these others that I know, Ash in particular, they I would not be able to shift the weight that I do, because I would still be faffing about,
yeah,
doing what I thought was best, when in reality, sometimes you do need to do the boring bits. You need to have weeks, because sometimes, and this is a strange thing, it's not all about going in and lifting heavier than you did the week before and lifting heavier than the week before. Sometimes there's a huge amount of benefit to be had in having weeks where you are relatively sedentary, where you take the weight right back, where you deload that weight and you decompress, and you let your body catch up with what it was doing the week before, and allow the tendons and your ligaments to strengthen up and get better.
yeah.
Otherwise you end up then having other issues. So it's things like that, things that we don't have the time to learn about, but it's their job, it's their profession. They know all about it. They know the best way to maximize your efforts.
Okay. Do you take supplements? Do you take any supplements?
Yeah, actually. So not anything exciting, certainly not anything that you have to administer with a syringe. But
Ah,
um, I just take the very rudimentary. So I'll take a little bit of pre-workout just to get me going, which is
yeah,
mostly
I
just
do.
caffeine. It's just like it's like a berry flavored shot of coffee.
Yeah,
But that gets you sort of like gets your gears working first thing in the morning. But I will take protein powder just to make sure that I'm getting enough protein a day, because most of us do not get enough protein of a day, which is a sad fact. So I'll take a protein powder. I'll take a multivitamin
yeah,
simply
I
just
do.
because, and creatine, which sounds like it's a wonder, but actually, it's a lot of research has gone to creatine in terms of not just muscle development and growth, but also brain function. So one of those, or a scoop of that in the morning after I've done my workout helps. And that's it. No, not more, nothing more or less exciting than that. Just
Oh wow.
protein, multivitamins, and a bit of creatine on the side, just to help me keep going. As I say,
Oh nice.
we're of an age, you and I now, where we have to do that.
I take far
have
more.
to take
I
have to
take
take these
far more
supplements.
supplements than that. I do. I take a lot more. I take like
Oh,
omega-3 fish
okay.
oils, CLA,
Mm.
BCAAs, creatine monohydrate. Sometimes creatine 100% pure. All sorts. I get it for free. You see, like a brand ambassador for Weight World, so I get a lot of my supplements for free. So I do take
Okay.
quite a bit, but it's all legal and above board. It is. Um,
Yes, when you start making these alchemist cocktails, people look at you a little bit funny. But Gus
yeah.
makes a good point, which is,
So you
how
just
do you
had.
get your protein?
She
Um,
really is asking the questions tonight, isn't she?
she
She-
is absolutely loving it. So for me, I got because at the ripe old age of mid 30 something, I developed a lactose intolerance, which has made me excessively sad. Because not only does it mean I don't get to put milk in my coffee anymore, it also means I don't get to eat pizza. So actually, it's probably been quite good for me. But it means that a lot of the protein powders you get are whey isolate, which is basically dairy.
oh, yeah,
And so I'm limited. So I have to have like collagen
yeah.
protein powders, which I have to say come in a range of very. I know, Jasmine. No, sad times. Um, but collagen powders, clear. It's basically clear collagen powder. It is peach flavored, and so it's like having a nice little peach cocktail each morning. Each morning, would you believe?
Oh, okay.
So it's not so bad. It's quite nice, actually. I quite like it. But I've known people who will basically get a nice Greek yogurt, mix your whey powder in that, make a nice little pudding dish with it.
Yeah,
And there's all kinds of things. I've known some people to try and sort of like bake it into cookies and bread, although never was a fan of that. Yeah, if you're struggling with the protein shakes every morning, I'd highly recommend just getting some nice Greek yogurt and then mixing it in just to make a little bit of a pudding for it. It's more palatable that way.
mm, never thought about that in that way.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh yeah. It's
But
all tricks there. So my question to you is, what do you think it is? What do you think it is that stops pest managers from engaging in exercise outside of work? Because as you say, it's a physically demanding job. We're standing up, we're
yeah,
scrabbling about, we're climbing up, we are doing all of these things. And there's probably an element of, at the end of the day, do you really want to go and do more exercise after that? But I mean, what do you think is the reason that people do not engage in these extracurricular adventures?
I just think a lot of pest controllers are just tired already. They've had a hard day at work. They don't want to go out and do more strenuous work. In the gym. I just think that's what a lot of it is. Or they just simply don't have the time for it. They're that busy. Um, I understand, obviously, it depends on your schedule, but they always say you don't have to go. You don't have to go to the gym. You can go for a walk. You can go for a run. You don't have to do weightlifting. It helps with mobility, but you can get some weights for your home. You don't have to do it at the gym. You
I'd say that you made a couple of really good points there.
Alex, I've got weights at my house, believe it or not, and I couldn't keep to it. But when I went to the gym, I kept to it. So it's
So I mean, there's the three things you said there, and then like I go on to Jasmine's because that's going to be the trifecta of the three. But number one, as you say, exercise doesn't have to be the gym. I'm a big advocate for the gym because for me, it's a place which is distinct from home. If I'm home and I've tried to do workouts at home before, and you just get distracted with home things. The dog comes over, wants to give you a hug. Fine, that's it. That's 10 minutes wasted. You hear something on the telly and you get distracted. You suddenly think, I've got to put the washing away. So having a designated space to do your exercise is, for my mind, it's fantastic because that is exercise place. This is home place, and never the twain shall meet. So absolutely, that's number one. Number two, which I can't remember what number two was exactly, so we just jumped on number three, which is don't have the time or don't make the time. This is it. It doesn't have to be a long time. You don't have to sort of like spend 5 hours down there. You don't have to sort of like spend most of the time I go down there, I'm in and done in less than an hour. Because anything more than that, and actually you're working against yourself. You're just absolutely making yourself tired, and you're giving yourself muscle fatigue rather than sort of like muscle growth. You're just working against yourself. So it doesn't have to be a big thing. And as you say, it could be a walk around the block. It could be a ride out on your bike. It could be all of these things. That was the last one, which is I feel too tired to go and do it. But that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the point is actually doing this extra exercise, getting yourself fitter, means that the day becomes less strenuous at that point. It becomes more manageable. Those tasks are not taking 100% of your effort anymore. They're only taking 60-70% of your effort. You can get more done. Your energy levels are peaking. They're doing better. You do get to the end of the day, and there is a huge amount of catharsism in that exercise that you do. It's really good. By no means is the gym a substitute for proper therapy. As we spoke to Anna before, the gym is not it's not a crutch. It is not a substitute for looking after yourself mentally. But what it is it is a very good release. It's a let go of those stresses of the day. Or if you're like me, when you start the day, it's a very good way to sort of like center yourself, to balance yourself, to start the day, to sit there, to basically rip the blank page, and to start again from fresh. And usually what I do, the last 50 minutes of the day of the gym, I'm stood on the treadmill and I'll go through my work phone and I'll start to prioritize my day and get an idea of what I'm meant to be doing in a calm and sort of like good place, as opposed to frantically sort of like pitching about and sort of like trying to get myself ready. So it's good for your health. It's good for your mental well-being, not necessarily sort of like mental health, so to speak, but mental well-being is very good for
it. Makes you feel good, doesn't it? Going to gym.
And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good, and it makes you look good. Let's just be honest about it. It makes you feel better about yourself, which is a huge thing. You know, at the end of the day, you're accountable to yourself. You have to live with yourself. That is the face, and that is the person that you walk past in every reflective surface. And so you need to be happy with yourself. And I'm not saying you're not happy if you don't go to the gym. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But it does give you a sense of confidence in yourself. Undoubtedly, it does. And we can all do with a little bit more than that at the end of the day.
I definitely agree. It's like when I first started gym, as I explained how big it was, I buy a brand called Explosive Ape. I don't know if you've heard of it. A gym brand. They're quite good. No, you probably haven't. Most of their gear is £10 to £20, but it's a brand that's exploding. It's quite good. Well, I started off with their shorts at 5XL. I'm now at XL shorts. So over time, I've
Yeah.
gone from 5 to XL. So it's not bad. But obviously, their size is slightly bigger than like a pair of Nike. But that's not bad from 5 to XL. It's not bad. Down
See,
from 5XL t-shirt to 3XL now with their brand. I am.
It's great. I was saying like that tracking progression. It's you track your progression either by seeing the weights go up that you're lifting, or
Yeah.
seeing the sort of like clothes sizes going down. I'm terrible for gym attire and apparel. I don't think I've ever worn gym clothing to the
I
gym.
do. I love it.
I'll sit. I will sit and I'll go in like t-shirts like this, like Monty Python t-shirts.
Yeah.
So everyone else is there and they're sort of like SPD and their A7s, and as you say, these brand names, all looking
Yeah.
very slick and professional and sort of like they should be in commercials. And then there's me with a t-shirt that says something like "Feed me and tell me I'm pretty" on it. So so again, you don't have to have
You don't
any
know.
special gear. You just need to have a pair of trekkie bottoms and a can-do attitude, and that's about all you need at the end of the day.
Yeah, you do.
Um,
It's like I train with my brother a lot, and you see my brother. He's an absolute unit. My brother's been
mm,
training for years. If you'd see him and me, you'd know we're brothers. But you could say, "Damn, he's worked. He's worked out for years. He can lift a lot. He doesn't do deadlifting though, but he can lift a lot. He can."
mm,
And like he says to me, "Oh, you'll have more power than me." I said, "What do you mean?" Well, he says, "You're just unlocking it currently. Once you unlock it fully,"
mm.
he says, "I think you'll be
Yeah,
stronger than me because you've got a bigger frame to start with." It's
yeah.
weird because there's like literally that much difference in height, yeah. But when it comes to setting up the machines, he says, I'm like training with 4. You have to move your seat right back. He says, I think it's to do with your they say people have got different what's it called? You know where your knees and legs are? There's different
Fever.
sizes. I've seen some gym videos where they say that you could be that much difference, but you have to set up the gym kit differently. I can't think what it's called. It's weird. You could be like that much difference, but you could be a different height on the machines. It's weird. So he always makes that joke when we're training. Oh, I forgot I was training before today.
But me and my brothers, we have sat down, sat around the dinner table, all we'll all roughly be the same height, all looking each other in the eye, and then we stand up, and we are 3, 2 very different heights.
Yeah.
Sam, the youngest, is ever so slightly taller than me, although I believe
Yeah.
that's probably his hair. And Ben,
Yeah.
the middle brother, is exceptionally tall. He's much taller than the pair of us. And I always say that Ben and Sam are, they're tall, beautiful human beings. They've got dark eyes and mousy brown hair, and they have naturally athletic frames. So basically, they've taken my father's height, my father's physique, and they have my mother's beautiful good looks. Whereas I, on the other hand, have my mother's height and my father's looks, which means that actually I have these. The 2 people I compare myself most to is my 2 brothers, and
Yeah.
they are sort of like tall, stunningly beautiful, naturally athletic people. And then I look like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. So I have to work hard. I have to work hard at just becoming average comparative to them. But as Jasmine says, like, how much further forward I have to move my seat compared to my husband.
I have this. I nearly have to pull the seat the entire way back. I feel sorry for the kids. My wife gets in. It's far. It's further forward. However, my sister-in-law also uses the car, and when she pulls it forward even more. I'm like, I'm going to have to make a skip one day. Me trying to get in the car when you lot have been in it. I'd fall over getting in the car. I would. I'm like 6. I'm 6'3", I think. Yeah, 6'3".
I am definitely not. I am 5'9", but there are advantages to being a short ass like myself, which is when you have to fly long distances, you fit into any seat.
Public transport in general. When I go on holiday, we use public transport to get down. We usually go skeggy, and I have to sit on the aisle seat. So anyone comes by, I have to quickly get my knees in, then put my knees back out again because I'm just too tall.
The funny thing is, even with powerlifting, like it being different sizes, having different length legs depends on whether you're better or not doing sort of like conventional deadlifts or sumo deadlifts, or generally speaking, how far you have to physically move the weight up and off the floor. If you've got big long legs, then you're having to move that weight actually sort of like considerable distance further. So actually, being a short ass is playing into my advantage in more ways than one.
It is. I thought of what I remember now. I watched a video on two people that nearly the same height, and it was their femurs that were different sizes.
Yeah.
Something called a femur, whatever that is. I'm no expert.
That's the bone that connects your knee to your hip. It's the longest
that's it. There are two people that were nearly the same size, but their femurs were different, so they had to set the machines up different. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is that. It absolutely is that. It's all to do with the length of your legs and that ratio between leg and torso. But yeah, these are things that you learn. I think a big takeaway from this is, at the end of the day, you just have to just be active. I think is the big thing. That's the biggest takeaway. Like I'd love it if everyone joined the gym. I'd love it if everyone sort of like approached my coach, friends, and took an online program. That would be absolutely fantastic. But the reality of it is you don't have to do that to be fit and healthy.
No.
You just have to have some time, and it'll instill discipline. It'll instill energy, and it'll help at the end of the day. Even a little bit every day builds up and gets you in the way you need to go. And I think that we've talked about all the bits on the outside. We've got 5 minutes left, but of course we've mostly focused on the fact, bigger muscles and sort of like bigger, stronger, faster.
Creatine makes you look bigger.
Exactly that.
Water.
But what we haven't talked about is helping your blood pressure, helping your cardiovascular system, helping your lung health. All of those things are big factors in not just feeling better, but also living a longer life as well. If you have a healthier heart, if you have a healthier whole, vascular system, and your lungs are in better shape, then you're gonna do better. Just as a standard. And you'll sleep better. That's a big thing I found. Good exercise, you sleep better, you feel better. If you lose if you do feel like you need to lose weight, you find that you will start to sleep better after that, because you suffer less from things like sleep apnea. And I know that when I was a couple of kilos heavier than I am now, I used to have the most terrifying snoring. It sounded like someone was trying to drill a hole through the wall. But as I lose weight, and as I sort of like get those kind of things, okay, it's not zero.
I still snore massively, but I do.
But you get more air into your lungs despite that. So
I was in hospital, you see. They were seriously concerned about me. I woke up and he was like, the doctor came and seen me. He was like, really, you need to lose weight. I said, what do you mean? He says, you've got sleep apnea. I said, how do you know that? He says, we had to, when you were in surgery, when I got knocked out first time round, because they can't knock me out anymore. They're not allowed to. Because I had a bad reaction to waking up. They struggled to get me to come round. So it took hours to get me to come round. I was hallucinating, delusional, everything. I came round in the end, but after that, I was banned from. I had to be awake. I did, but
before you finish your story, let me just quickly jump in. This will be the story for the night. You had a bad reaction to waking up from anesthesia. A couple of years ago, I had not the reverse, but near close to. So I went in for an operation, probably when I was in my early 30s. Went in for an operation and signed a bit of paper. They said, hey, sir, would you mind? We've got a whole load of trainee doctors and nurses and anesthesiologists, and we'd like them to sort of like view. It's the routine operation. We don't expect anything. So I was like, yeah, sure, sign the paper. So there we go. And I'm in the the little room, the pre-op room, where they give you sort of like all of your pre-op meds and the rest of it. So I'm in there and I'm wearing this little gown, which is nothing more than sort of like a tea towel barely covering sort of like
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, it comes down to your knees, and it's not that. And the room's full of doctors and nurses and anesthesiologists, and then it's full of trainees, doctors and nurses and anesthesiologists. And then through the window, just that they've wheeled me through, are my parents who have come to see me off and say goodbye. Well, not goodbye, but
Yeah.
like see me through the door. And I've got my cannula in my arm, and they give me a shot, which is obviously the sedative, the pre to knocking me out. And they give me the shot, and I can feel it tracking up my arm. I can feel it going up the vein, and this cold sort of like sensation moving up my arm. And then it
Yeah.
hits my chest and obviously hits my heart, and then whoosh, cold feeling all over my body as it basically just
Oh, okay.
squirts this. But in my head, in my brain, I just went, dude, I feel really drunk, because I did.
Yeah.
And the delay between my brain saying, dude, I feel really drunk, and my acting out to say that, I basically sat bolt upright on this gurney and just went,
Yeah.
dude. And then I was unconscious, and I just pitched off this gurney onto the
Wow.
floor. Like, I was unconscious by the time I hit the floor. But this room, there must have been 24 people
Wow.
crowded around this room, my family looking on through this door. And basically what I've managed to do, all anyone saw me do, was just take the shot in the arm, sit bolt upright, go, dude, and then pitch naked off the gurney. A
Damn.
tribe of people just lift me back on. So no matter what you may have done, I don't think it could have nearly been as embarrassing as that.
No, 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 definitely not. Definitely not.
So
But
yeah, sorry, you were saying.
but no, it's I was they wouldn't let me be knocked out after that, which the last time round for surgery, I had to have, how they say when women have babies and that you can't feel the bottom half. I had to have that.
After an epidural. Okay, had to
Yeah,
have an epidural.
they called it a block. It wasn't exactly the same, but I couldn't feel the bottom half. And I tell you what, that's weird. Your legs, you can't even feel your legs. And I said to the surgeon in surgery, I says, the anesthesia, I says, when you starting then? He says, he looked at his watch and says, started 10 minutes ago, sir. Oh, I says, I could just feel them cleaning my legs. Just know that they're operating on your legs. I couldn't feel nothing.
Oh no, that makes me feel queasy.
But no, it's so and I could hear them commenting on the previous surgery. He's had some good surgery done in the past. And they're high fiving each other after. And what a good surgery that they did. So,
Excellent stuff. Look at that. I even managed to stitch my name into his patella.
yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, so the main takeaway is if pest controllers can try and get more active, or if they can get to the gym, it will improve your job no end, especially if you do mold control, any kind of pest control work. You'll have more energy, you'll have more mobility and flexibility, which will improve. You may not think of it now, but when you start the process, you will notice massive benefits. In the end, it's not overnight. Don't think you're going to the gym once and that's it. You'll notice overnight. It will take a while, and you will start to notice. But I do think that people should consider it, even if it's a slow start, baby steps. It all helps. It does. Us all be healthier and be able to do our jobs better. It
By
does.
far and away, the best tool you can take to the gym is a buddy, because they will hold you accountable. If you miss it, they will hold you accountable. And so exactly as Jasmine says there, who fancies a group exercise class in the next regional event? I will organize that. I'll bring Ellen down. I'll get Ellen down and I'll get her all to do kettlebells for a bit of fun. But no, have someone to be accountable. They don't necessarily have to come with you, but someone who you are accountable to, because sometimes it's easy just to make an excuse to yourself. I don't have the time. I've got things to do. I really need to get on this. No, it's easy. It's easy to deceive yourself many of the times. which is where the discipline comes in. But if you have someone, especially in those early days, to hold you accountable, to go to the gym, to do the thing, to lift up the heavy circles, it does help. And so if anyone actually sort of like listening to this and wants to know where to start, more than happy. I'm by no means an expert. I'm by no means, a guru, but I can point you in the direction of the people that can. And I can help, even if you wish, hold you accountable. I can sort of like sit there and, cheer your numbers along and get you going. But by all means, find something, find your passion: rock climbing, mountain biking, walking, skiing, paragliding, whatever it is, just something to get that blood pumping, to get those endorphins running, to get that routine going, because we are more than our jobs at the end of the day. But this will
And,
definitely help us with our jobs.
oh no, definitely. Well, great wise words there, Lex. Wise words.
It's the grey hair. It's just creeping in. That's what's happening. It's slowly taking over my brain.
I've got a bit of grey hair, but because I've got no hair, I keep shaving it off. You see. So when my wife cuts my hair, because there's no point in going to the barbers, it's like a handful of hair. You've still got hair, you see. It might be grey, but you've still got hair. I've got a little bit. When you look at me properly, when I haven't shaved it, I look a bit like a monk, you see, around the side.
Oh, you need to get yourself a little tonsure going on. There we go.
But yeah,
sure.
No, thanks, Alex, for coming on, agreeing to come on. And Jasmine was here for the entire show because she wanted you on. She did.
Absolutely. She asked some fantastic questions as well.
She did.
And
she did.
Like I say, thank you ever so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure to talk about something actually outside of the industry for a change, because I think many people know me as just, Lex, Pest guy. But it's nice to be able to talk about things that are not necessarily, pest adjacent, let's say. There's more to me than, sending the creepy crawlies away. So there we go. It's been an absolute pleasure. And like I say, it's an open
good to have you on.
Anyone who wants to reach out and start that journey. I will happily help you take those first steps. I can't guide you much further than that. I don't have the skill or the knowledge, but I can set you on the path if you so wish.
Yeah, no, thanks. Jasmine's enjoyed it. She said it was a nice change from the usual sort of topics. Yeah, it was. It's pretty unique. I don't even think you've done a show like this on your podcast, have you?
I don't believe so. I mean, we've done some sort of like pest adjacent type things, but we've certainly never done one on exercise, and we've done them on mental well-being and
yeah, you've done that.
Never done them on physical well-being. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to I was like,
no.
You lot have covered far more than me. I'm still catching up. I am episode 29 now. I am. But,
yeah, you're crashing away there. You're catching up.
But I do it. I like to think I'm a bit. I've asked people about, because a few people I've asked, and they thought when my podcast starts, I was literally a copy of you guys, and I've asked, am I a copy? And they said, well, no, you do it completely different, or your style's very different, because you're two people interviewing. I'm by myself. I'm kind of different. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Not every podcast is complete fire and amazing, but I try. I do. But,
all podcasts, and then my Sean, Mr. Mooney, he always says that podcasts are never in competition with one another. It's not like we compete, because at the end of the day, if you listen to one podcast, you'll listen to two, you listen to three, you listen to eight. It becomes part of your routine.
It's like a little circuit. So, I listen to yours. I listen to
Andy's. The Pest
when he makes them. He doesn't make them often. He doesn't make loads of them, does he?
No, but when he does, they're golden. I have to say.
Had Sean on.
Did I tell you? Sorry, I'll run away from this. I actually got to see his little setup when I went to go visit Andy. I went to go see his labs, his setup. Got to sit at the desk. So now every time I listen to his podcasts, I can imagine him sat at his little desk with all of his sound stuff. It's perfect.
But I mean, I would love to get Sean on at some point, but he won't come on. He's like, nah, mate, no one wants to hear me. No one likes me. I was like, you did very well on the on Andy's podcast. Yeah, but he said they strong arm me into it. They said they'd fall out with me, so I had to go on it. So he said that's why. He said no one will watch it if I come on. I says I think they will. You've got a good voice.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
I'll get him on eventually
maybe
at some point.
2026, year of the Mooney. That's what
Well,
we
you never
need to
know. I'm nearly all
Stop.
booked up for this year. You know, I'm booked up till December. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm having some. I've got a few planned that are actually 2 within 1 week. I have. I'm also getting on.
Where do you have the energy for that?
Serene, the lady who made the Wasp book.
Serene.
Yeah,
Serene Summer.
Serene. Yeah, she's emailing me soon, middle of August. I'm getting her on, and that will be a special one on a different day. But yeah, Year of the Mooney. Hopefully, I can get him on next year. But yeah, but I just enjoy doing it. I do. So, and please, anyone, if you're watching on Spotify, I've looked. 51 of you follow the podcast. Go to where the podcast is, the 3 little dots, and press rate the show, please. Because it'd be cool having 50 reviews. It would be. But more people watch than that. But clicking review would help. But please, if you could do that, if not, just carry on watching. It's all appreciated. But yeah, thanks for giving it your time tonight, Lex, and hope you have a good evening. You're not off back to the gym, are you?
I've already done my gym for the day. That's it. No more. Not until tomorrow morning, at least.
Fair enough. Right. Thanks, Lex, for coming on. And I'll see you all next week. Right. All right. There we go. Thanks.
Bye.